Hey budget girls and guys, it's me, and today I have another book review for you. I know it's been a little bit since I posted one, and I promise you I'm still reading. In fact, I have read all of these books, and in preparing to review all of them for you, I read about a financial book a month. I love reading this stuff. I just don't always have time to sit down and film it because there are so many other cool things going on. Oh, and I'm reading this now, which is a money advice book from a WWE wrestler. Is that even the... Yeah, WWE wrestler, which is very interesting. Right now it's mostly like pictures of him in college sports. But yeah, I'll have that coming. But today, I have for you America's Cheapest Family Gets You Right on the Money by Steve and Annette Economides. And yes, that is their real last name. I checked. This book was published in 2007, but I think it's still very applicable. I took it out from my local library, and this is the second time I've checked it out, and each time I reread it, I learn even more stuff, because somehow these people, and they have 5 kids, just make the frugal lifestyle seem so easy and reachable and fun too, and that's really weird. But their attitudes about this are really fun to read. They aren't preachy at all. They just have some really cool insights. They've been doing this for over 30 years, and their children have been raised this way, and it's just a really interesting family. So I'll tell you about some of the stuff I've read. One of the things I really liked in this book was that they categorized everyone into, is that hair? into 3 categories. A timid mouse, which is a kind of a beginner to frugality, a wise owl who's kind of intermediate, and an amazing ant who's someone that's a really old hat. And at the end of each of the chapters, they have tips on how to kind of like up your frugality level for each of those animal levels. So while sometimes you might read a book where everything's so simple and you've been at it for a while and it's like, oh, I know all this stuff. And other times, you know, maybe people are spouting numbers and all sorts of crazy retirement stuff, and you're like, I'm not there yet. These guys have somehow managed to break it down so you can level up, even if, you know, despite your level, which I found really interesting. So this is probably one of the best examples of like an eternal frugal lifestyle choice that I've seen. These people talk about contentment, but it makes it, the way they live and the way they talk about the way they live, it still makes it seem, and they feel like they're living in just like excellence. So it's not they're always wishing for something more. It's you can tell they really enjoy their lives and the way that they do things. So let's see. I made some notes on the back for you guys. It's a big book. One of their tips is to use a budget book, and I thought this was really interesting. Each member of this family, except the parents, they have one together, has a budget book, and they have 20 different categories, 8 different bank accounts, and it records all of their stuff and all of the things that they're working on. And I would really love to get my hands on one of these things because that sounds awesome. And there are little stories from the kids in here too, and they're all adults now. But one of the guys that was interviewing them for a TV show once, talked to one of the daughters, and he was looking through her budget book, and he said, I can't believe you're only, you know, 17, 18 years old, and you have $3,000 in this savings account, $3,000 in this, $500 here. You know, I'm a grown man, and you have more money than I do, and you're so fiscally responsible. And that's all these kids have ever known. Reading, they have chapters on everything in here about cars, clothing, houses, electricity, how to save on everything. And what I thought was really cool is that all the kids were raised like never having, well, they'd been to malls, but they had never shopped at malls. They'd always shopped at thrift stores and Goodwills and garage sales, and because that was how they were raised, they were just aghast anytime they went to the mall. It just wasn't, that would be like me going to Prada and buying something. Just, come on now. Like, I just can't even fathom those prices, but they were like that with regular prices. And at the same time, though, it's obvious they don't dress like they've been purchasing stuff at garage sales and thrift stores. There's an entire chapter on, and they believe that, the better you make your appearance, the more you're going to be respected. They understand those theories, and so they have little tricks on how to, like, create a color palette in your wardrobe and do mix and matches. And despite the fact that this was published in 2007, all of this advice is fantastic. Alright, let's see. One thing I thought was kind of cool was they have a windfall plan. The parents do. So if a tax refund comes in or something, they have a percentage plan, kind of written in stone, where 20% of any windfall they get goes to the church, 50% goes to this, and so on. I'm having issues. Let's see. For groceries, I thought this was interesting. They're very into planning. They go grocery shopping twice a month, and it takes them a total of 10 hours a month to go grocery shopping. When they couldn't afford a deep freezer, they got a friend to let them use a shelf in their freezer, and and for a family of 7, their grocery budget is $350 a month, which, is mine's $170 a month, and I'm one person. And I understand that as you go up more, it becomes less expensive per person, but in 2007, $350 a month for 7 kids, and I think that's only up to like $400 now. They do have a YouTube channel called Maven of Savin. I'll link that below, and they also have a blog on a website, and I'll link that below too. And they still post to their YouTube channel, every week or so, and they've been on YouTube since 2007. So I just think they're really, really cool. They're just really ingenuitive, which is neat. They also don't buy sliced lunch meat. They have their own slicer. Hi, Roro. Ow. They buy Chubs and then slice their own with their own deli slicer, which I thought about getting, but really, where would you put that in here? I wish I had room for one of those. And it's just, they've been on so many TV shows and so many, had so many articles published, and yet they're so obviously humble, and they still act like, we're just down the street. It's like talking to an aunt or an uncle that you think's cool when you're a kid. It's just like they just know everything, and they're so understanding, and I'm just gushing about these people, aren't I? But let's see, I bookmarked a couple of things. Their budget book. This is their list of all the things that they plan for. I believe the quote was that they anticipate 98% of their expenses. They're able to anticipate just because of how long they've been doing this. Like when I needed a new laptop, I kind of anticipated that, but they would have already had a savings plan in place when the last laptop gave out. So I'm learning, but I'm learning through like messing up. Whereas I don't know if that's how these people did it, but it feels like they just knew it all along. Let's see what else I got. Yeah, that's the Timid Mouse. Alright. And this is really cool. They talk about, a lot in the book about not trying to live a lifestyle that you can't afford. But the lifestyle that they live obviously isn't one of scrimping and saving. It's one of great joy. And they try to be non-materialistic, which is so cool. And they don't like fads. They have in here about how they don't go along with fads. They aren't brand loyal, and I really wanted to read you guys this quote. Frugality isn't belt-tightening during a crisis. It's not a fad or a temporary thing. It's a lifestyle, usually born out of necessity, but continued because it's fulfilling and because we just couldn't imagine living another way. That's the kind of life I want to live. I recently put a link on my Budget Girl Facebook page about, and it was a link to an outside website where someone was blogging about budgeting like a soldier. And this person had decided to basically act like he was on deployment in the military to save money. And that involved eating like the same MRE type meal every single day, not seeing his friends or his family for an entire year. And this guy had nephews and nieces where he would miss out on their lives for an entire year because he didn't want to budget the money to spend for gas. And I might have missed it, but I don't think I did. I think this was to save money for, just to save, not even like for a house or for a car or something like that. He just wanted to have this huge stockpile of money, but I don't think that giving up living for a year is worth however much money he stockpiled. I don't. So this living because it's fulfilling, living frugally because it's fulfilling, and because you've decided that you're content with what you have, I think is a lot better of a theory to go about than, I don't want to say gazelle intensity, because Dave's gazelle intensity is about doing everything you can to, you know, make the kids think that you're going to sell them next. But nowhere does he say, you know, completely cut yourself off from civilization for a year so you can save. He would never do that. He's got kids. I think there's definite balance to be struck. And this is just a really cool book, and I think you should request it at your library or go buy it. I believe I saw it on Amazon for just a couple of dollars. If it's in your budget and you want to have this, I'm kind of considering purchasing this because I want it on hand. And there are some books I just go back to over and over and over again because they inspire me, and this is one of those books. So last of all, they say living thrifty saves time, secures your financial position, and living thrifty is better for relationships, better for your kids, better for the economy, and better for your environment. And I just think it's a really neat book. I will link to it below. Once again, this is not a sponsored post. I don't know these people. I'm a fan, but I definitely think that they're not being paid, but I think their book is worth being checked out. I am going to keep reading because I love reading financial books, and hopefully very soon you will get to hear my thoughts about these. 5 out of 5 Budget Girl Penny Pigs. Timeless advice. Bye. See you guys next time.